cameras here all ready to go? Awesome, you're ready to go, Bob.
Just make sure all the cameras are ready. Appreciate everybody being here. What I thought we'd do, if it's okay with everyone, is myself and the Police Commissioner will speak about the passing of Lily Hooper and take any questions that you've got. And then once we conclude that bit, we can speak about the police attestation and the graduation, if that suits. Obviously, devastating news in our state yesterday relating to the passing of Lily Hooper. And I know that her family, the volunteers, the police, the Australian Defence Force personnel that were involved in the search were devastated to hear the ultimate news of her passing. And I can only imagine the grief that that family has gone through over the last more than a week, not knowing about her condition, with her being missing, and then ultimately with the devastating news that she'd passed. I'm also absolutely devastated and profoundly sorry that anything I said may have added to the grief that that family has gone through. I'm profoundly sorry that that happened, and I know the Police Commissioner and myself, the government, will do everything we can to ensure that there are strong protocols in place when it comes to informing government agencies, the family and the media about the latest up-to-date, accurate information. Now that's important going forward, but it won't change what's happened over the last 24 hours, and I'm very sorry to the Hooper family. I know they've gone through hell over the last week, and I can assure you and I can assure them that the public, the people of New South Wales, are profoundly sorry for their loss. Lily was a fantastic person. She was doing what you'd want of every young person, and that is getting out in the community, getting out in nature, seeing the beauty and the best parts of the Australian outback. We want to encourage more of it, not less of it. This has ended in a terrible tragedy, but I don't want it lost that Lily was a fantastic person with a close family, and this would be devastating for them. Mal, do you mind if I pass over to you?
Yeah, thanks, Premier. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly echo the sentiments of the Premier. Yesterday I expressed an unreserved apology for what was a miscommunication. A miscommunication in some of the most terrible circumstances you would ever want it to have happened. Sadly, for 8 days, volunteers, emergency services personnel and police had worked tirelessly in our best efforts to find Lily safe and bring her home to her parents. Sadly, that wasn't the case. I can only imagine as a parent what Lily's parents are going through, and our deepest sympathies are with her family. We will continue to work closely with the family. Obviously, this is a really tough time for them. I want to show them the respect to enable them to grieve in peace. I certainly understand the questions that are being asked about the miscommunication that occurred yesterday. I've spoken to the SES Commissioner. Together we will work on protocols with police, with emergency services, to ensure that communication in these circumstances is foolproof. Can I say from time to time, particularly when we are searching in remote locations, communication can be challenging. Every officer that was at the scene, every officer who had devoted their time to the search was doing so in good faith. Yesterday's miscommunication, as tragic as it was not born out of ill will. It was at a time where certainly rescuers were elated, having heard the news that we had located Lily. Tragically, her condition was miscommunicated, and for that I apologise. We're happy to take questions.
Commissioner, was the miscommunication, the information being relayed, was it correct or was it misinterpreted in that relay?
We're still working through that at the moment. I said yesterday there will be a review of what happened, a review of the policy, certainly a review of communication. We want to make sure this doesn't happen again. It was a terrible set of circumstances. We will work through that.
Have you spoken to the Hooper family?
I haven't personally, but certainly through the police. We have a family liaison officer who is working closely with the police. This is a terrible time for the family. I've indicated through the family liaison officer that I would love to speak to the family, but at a time that works for them. This is their time.
Yeah, can I add to that? Do you mind?
Sorry, Premier.
No, not at all. I've made contact too with the family, and obviously their focus at the moment is on their grief, and they've asked for privacy, but I'll be in contact in the next day or so to make a personal apology. And, you know, as I said, the government, myself, we're profoundly sorry. No, we've made contact through the police liaison officer.
Commissioner, will you review the way volunteers are used in these big searches going forward?
When you say review the way that they're used, our volunteers do an outstanding job. They are coordinated when they're in a search like this. They do a brilliant job. They give of their own time to do this there. We continually work on getting processes better. As I said, I've spoken to the SES Commissioner. We'll continue to work on that. But can I not detract from the outstanding work that the searchers did? For 8 days, they dedicated a large number of volunteers. We had up to 1,000 people searching for Lily. We were committed to bringing her home.
Look, I don't think it can just be on police. I mean, ultimately the responsibility is on me too. I mean, if the protocol's not in place, then we need to fix it. And so I think everyone's got to take some responsibility and accountability, including me. But we're committed to doing that, and I'm confident we can avoid it happening again. That's not going to bring a lot of relief to the Hooper family, however, and that's why we're very sorry.
Was it police media who contacted your office with the incorrect information?
No, and no, we've got established protocols between our office and senior police, but I think it's reasonable that we just allow police to undertake an investigation.
Who was it that contacted?
I understand your interest, but I'm not going to single out an individual or a person. Ultimately, this is my responsibility and Mal's responsibility, and we're going to fix it.
Minister, do you know, Yasmin, do you know who contacted the Premier's office, how it came through your office?
Oh, as the Premier has just said, we have ongoing protocols. The police contact my office and we then contact the Premier's office.
No, I haven't. Did you want to fix that before I kick on? I've got a good relationship with the SES Commissioner and we speak routinely. I'm sure I'll catch up with him soon, but I don't have plans to do it in the next day or so. I have to say, in his time as the SES Commissioner, he's handled some very difficult periods for New South Wales, flooding, emergency services, particularly up the North Coast, and I have to say my experience with him has been exceptional. But so I've got a lot of confidence in him working with New South Wales Police to ensure these protocols are foolproof. The Commissioner's given a commitment to do that, and the government will act.
Commissioner, are you prepared to repeat your Assistant Commissioner's words from yesterday that you believe the police officers on the ground did not jump the gun?
I think it's important. I said yesterday very clearly that this had been a significant search. It was one that was a high profile, and to be honest, the situation was very unique. The command post was set up in a major car park. The family of Lily were at that command post. So messages are communicated quickly. If a miscommunication happens, it moves very quickly. Our police did what I'd expect them to do, which is to report up. As I said, this was a significant matter. We had devoted a large number of resources, and it was something that we were hoping for the best ending absolutely possible. We will look at the process. I've been really clear about that. I want to understand what happened, but can I say it's not a time for blame. This is a process issue that we will work through. It's not one person's issue, it's something that we need to work through and make sure we get it right. Again, that will form part of the review. We need to make sure that the communication is clear. We need to make sure there is not miscommunication. I apologise for what happened yesterday. It's incredibly unfortunate. It's a tragic set of circumstances. I wish we could go back and that wasn't the case, but we'll certainly learn from it and get better. No, I can't. I said that would be part of the review. I think it's important that we actually work right through it. I wouldn't want to give false information to you now. I think it's important that we work through it in a timely manner.
There's a number of tributes out there in the local community with her hometown, where she's from. What do you guys make of that?
Tribute, sorry?
Yeah, just the whole town getting around the family.
Lily is an incredibly wonderful young lady. This is why it is such a tragedy. My thoughts are simply with her family. I can't imagine what they're going through, and I think part of what we're talking here, I completely understand. Trying to understand what happened with the miscommunication, I understand. But can I just ask for some respect for her family? This is a time when they are going through the greatest grief any family could have. I understand the interest, but can we just spend a bit of time really paying our respects to her family? This is a terrible time for the family.
And do you have any update on the circumstances about how she's died and how she's come to be where she is?
I don't have any updates certainly in terms of whether there are injuries, how she may have passed away. We recovered Lily's body last night, which is the start of the process. We will go through the normal examination and investigation as we would. It was incredibly challenging. I think when I spoke yesterday, it was quite a remote but a very difficult place to get to. To be honest, we tried to use a helicopter in the first instance to do that. That proved challenging because of the canopy, but it shows the lengths that we will go to make sure that we do things properly. It was very, very difficult terrain for the searchers, and that's why I think it's really important that we do pay tribute to the work that they did for 8 days, walking through probably the most difficult terrain, all with one single purpose.
With policing becoming so complex these days, not just law and order, but cybercrime, terrorism, etc., how, as Premier, are you going to equip the new batch that you just passed out and coming batches and the police force to handle these new set of challenges that present themselves?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and probably gives me an opportunity to speak about the graduating class. I find it very difficult to say attestation, but graduating class 369. This is a record class. We haven't had this many recruits through the Goulburn Academy in 13 years. It's a bumper class of new recruits who seem fantastic, and we can't wait to have them deployed right across New South Wales. They will have and be part of the biggest budget for New South Wales Police in the state's history, and we're investing enormous amounts of money in emerging technology as it relates to sophisticated technology, particularly surveillance and phone interdiction and other investigation methods. I'm sure Mel won't go into chapter and verse how they crack some of the hard cases, but as Premier, we've been privy to some of their investigation techniques, and it's incredible. I mean, it's genuinely cutting edge, and some of the most high-profile crimes have been solved by New South Wales Police utilising the latest technology, some of which they keep secret because for operational needs we'd rather the bad guys not know about it, but these graduates are going to be tipped into a New South Wales Police force that's ready to go, that's doing extraordinary work arresting some terrible people in our community and hopefully over time driving crime rates down. That's their responsibility, and I think they're up for the job.
Sorry, Premier, do you mind if I just
Absolutely.
on that? In fact, just in the last budget, we invested $84 million into IT and into the systems that operate specifically for police, just police, what I call police smart. Policing today is very different to what it was when, I'm sure, when the Commissioner first started, not that long ago, I'm sure, Commissioner. But, you know, it really has. It's evolved and it will continue to evolve. And as a government, we are absolutely committed to keeping our finger on the pulse of what is the latest in technology when it comes to law enforcement and investing in that. And certainly we are one of the most technically adapted law enforcement police in this country. There is no doubt about that. And that is because we train our police, we send them across the world to see the best technology, we bring those back here and we roll those out on the ground here. So our police today are amongst the smartest you will find anywhere in the world.
This recruit we spoke to earlier, sorry, I forgot his name, he was at Bondi Junction, Westfield, he was there, and because of that he's now gone to join the police. Are those the type of people that you want to sign up?
Well, look, I'm glad that I have the opportunity to talk about Class 369. Of course, you're referring to Jack?
Oh no, the young man who's just become a police officer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was his name? Anyway,
There's
look,
a-
what we want...
name?
No. Okay,
What was
sorry, I
that?
didn't get to speak to him.
Milo.
Yeah, Milo. Okay. Look, what we want in the New South Wales Police Force are people who are dedicated to serve. And it really is a calling. I've had the great opportunity this morning to speak to quite a number of new recruits, very excited to get to their locations. First thing Monday morning, they'll be out on the street, keeping our streets safe. But, I think it's important that we remember the training that they get. They are really well prepared. We know now Western Sydney, you've all heard today, this is the first class that has completed their first stage, their education from their diploma from Western Sydney University. I had the opportunity to have a long conversation with those from the university about the changes that they have made, which are really positive, making sure that our attrition rates are really strong. We want the kids to get through the course, learn a lot. These kids have to learn a lot of legislation. I shouldn't just say kids, we've got someone's 59, young like me, which is fantastic. So these wonderful people who have joined the New South Wales Police, they're doing it because there's a cause. And they also do it because there are so many careers within the New South Wales Police. You can have a number of careers within a career. Look, I just wanted to share with you that we had 353 attests today. That is the largest class in 14 years. But on top of that, we had our professional mobility program, which the government introduced just a couple of years ago. So we've managed to, bring over 17 already professional police officers from different jurisdictions in Australia and New Zealand, and they've joined the New South Wales Police Force. There's one reason for that, because it's the best in the world, so we all know that. So good on them. They'll have a wonderful career here. Of those, 92 are female. We're really keeping those numbers high as well, which is fantastic, and continuing to offer a much diverse organisation. And the Commissioner is so dedicated to that and will continue to do that. So the age range, as I've just alluded to, is from 18 to 59. So we're open for business. Join up. There's never been a better time to be a cop in New South Wales.
Premier, could I get your reaction to these two serious sets of charges against teenage boys when it comes to sexual violence against young teenage girls? Can I get your reaction to those and where you think these sort of attitudes might come from and how concerned you are, particularly in prestigious Sydney schools, whether there is a cultural problem amongst young boys?
Well, look, they're very serious charges. They are involving juveniles, and it's important that the court be able to examine that alongside New South Wales Police. But I can assure the public that the police take it incredibly seriously, and when there are allegations of serious crimes, they'll be investigated, and people, even juveniles, could face serious charges. As it relates to culture within those organisations, I'm not part of their community, so it's difficult for me to comment specifically, but I think we've all got an obligation to have positive role models, particularly as it relates to young people. There are great people out there, and I think I'm not going to link it specifically to these cases because I don't know about them, but I do worry about some of the toxic style social media algorithms that are fed into young minds. It's a kind of malady that my generation didn't have to go through, but if you live online, there's some bad people out there that feed, horrible views, and I don't know if it's related to these two cases, but we just have to be vigilant about it in our community because it's not the kind of society I want to live in.
On that, there are mobile phone bans in schools, for example. There's a social media ban that's being rolled out. Do you think those are working? Are they failing children?
Well, the mobile phone ban in schools does work. I mean, teachers have told us that. Social media ban, I think, the intent of it is good. I don't think it's perfect, but it is an attempt by the government to try and, the federal government in this case, to try and do something about the fear that many parents have about their children's minds being infected with these horrible algorithms. And the social media companies don't seem to give a crap about it. It's as if they have no responsibility. So I'm glad the government tried to take action. I'm sure it's not foolproof and that people are getting around the filter, but we've got to try something.
Milo, the Italian man you
Yes.
met, can you tell me, is that the type of person that
Yes.
you want in the New South Wales Police Force?
I did meet Milo. He seems like a fantastic guy, and it's exactly the kind of person that we need in the New South Wales Police Force. People that are prepared to run towards a danger. This is a dangerous job. We'd love to make it safe like a desk job, but it's not a desk job. It's a difficult job. And the only choice we have is to get brave people to sign up to become New South Wales police officers. We had 353 of them today, and we can't wait to see them on the force.
Victoria Barracks, you're also ramping up the fight to stop it from being sold off.
Yep.
Why have you done that?
I listened to diggers, particularly returned servicemen from the Vietnam and Korean War. We had a delegation come and see us because we were celebrating Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day at Government House. The Governor put on a special day, and I spoke to hundreds of them there, and they said the same thing, almost in unison, although they hadn't collaborated beforehand. We want to save Victoria Barracks, and I'm not going to ignore them. I mean, they're distinguished diggers that have served our country. They believe it's an important part of the heritage of our state and Australia. This needs a rethink. Who's going to buy it anyway? It's just too important for the country's history, and it's an important part of the country's future. In 100 years' time, Victoria Barracks will still be and should be the centre and birthplace of a part of the Australian Army. I don't want to see it become a hotel or something else. It needs to be part of the Australian Defence Forces.
Are you satisfied with how the Sydney Swans have handled the allegations since the weekend?
Well, look, I haven't had an opportunity to look closely at their statements over the last 24 hours because I've genuinely been focusing on this matter, the matter we spoke about earlier. So I haven't seen the ins and outs of it, but I understand they've stood the players down. I think that's appropriate in the circumstances.
Commissioner,
Yes, we haven't had a question. Yes, please.
This is in regard to Goulburn Jail, the closure of the maximum security rooms. That's been said that on the basis of its age, it's no longer fit for purpose. That's a recent.
Yeah.
Why isn't that principle being applied even throughout the state? For example, Bathurst Jail?
Well, it will be over time. I mean, eventually the ambition for corrective services is to ensure that we've got modern, safe workplaces and prison facilities, and we can't close them all on a single day. It has to be done on a rotating basis, but we'll have more to say about brand new prison facilities in New South Wales soon. We need to do that because the prison population is growing. We don't make any apologies for that. Mal and his team, alongside the 353 new police officers, are doing a very good job arresting people in our community that should be in jail.
Why not commit to the upgrade of these wings, or indeed building a more modern facility at the Goulburn site where there's plenty of space?
Yeah, look, we'll have more to say about prison infrastructure soon. They're not easy decisions to make, but they're very old buildings, and the decisions made not by me but by the professionals in this space, that parts of it were unsafe both for prisoners and prison staff.
There's a lot of community anger in Goulburn about this decision. How does Labor think that it's going to ever win the seat of Goulburn on the back of this decision?
Well, look, I can't just look everything in political terms. I mean, I've got to make decisions that I think are right for New South Wales. A lot of the calls I've made over the last week have been unpopular, and there's been a lot of criticism of them, but at least you know where we stand. We put our views out there, we make our policies clear, and ultimately it's up to voters to make their decision.
Commissioner,
Okay.
graduating
Well,
class
just a couple
today.
more, guys, because I've got to head off soon.
Graduating class today, how great is it to see police numbers growing, and does it make you feel young again?
Oh, it's an incredibly proud day for me. It still feels like the first day I came into the Police Academy nearly 40 years ago. Incredibly proud as a commissioner to swear in 353 new constables today as part of Class 369, but also 17 from a professional mobility program where officers have moved from other jurisdictions. This will be the first year in a number of years where we've had positive growth in the organisation. We will swear in significantly more constables than we'll have officers leaving the police force. I made it very clear when I became the Commissioner, recruitment and retention was a really key priority, because we need to make sure the community is not only safe but they feel safe. And we know having more blue shirts, more police officers, more very brave women and men on the streets helps the community feel safe. So a wonderful day for the New South Wales Police Force, and absolutely it does make me feel young again. I still wish I was in the place of those young constables stepping out today.
Thanks, Mal.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Tony.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh.